Jesus said in Matthew 5:19, "Do and teach God's law." This is God's law number 16. Take oaths only in the Lord's name. Hello, everybody. I'm Jim McCutter. Welcome. Here is God's law number 16 from God's law book, Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 13. Quote, "You must fear the Lord your God and serve him, and when you take an oath, you must use only his name." End quote. What's so important about this law? Well, number one, as a people and nation, everyone pledges to only fear and serve the Lord God. In other words, we're not to serve a nation or a people or anyone. We're to serve only the Lord God. And to do that, we must fear no one, no person, no people, nor any other nation. Fear only the Lord God. Number two, this law states, therefore, in manifestation of this fact, all oaths, quote, must use only his name, end quote. When our first president, George Washington, took his oath of office as president of the United States, he took the oath with his hand on the Bible, and upon the conclusion of his oath, he kissed the Bible, closed his eyes, and added, quote, "So help me God," end quote. It has been a general tradition for over 225 years for civil rulers to take their oath of office with their hand on the Bible and conclude with, "So help me God." But in 2006, Minnesota voted into office the first Muslim U.S. Congressman, Keith Ellison, and he took his oath of office on the Muslim Quran. Ellison took his oath of office not just excluding the Bible or with his oath to the Lord God, but he did it with putting his hand on the Quran that defies the Lord God and worships Satan's moon god, Allah. The Constitution that permits this can never be honored by the Lord God. It is in defiance to the first of the 10 Commandments as well as this present commandment. Any Christian who thinks otherwise might want to think about what the prophet Elijah said to God's people who under their civil ruler was worshiping false gods and not following God's constitutional law. 1 Kings chapter 18 and verse 21, quote, "Elijah went before the people and said, 'How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him.' But the people said nothing." End quote. To say nothing was to admit guilt and be self-condemned. Today, if we are silent and say nothing about our law, we are as guilty and self-condemned as were God's people then. Dietrich Bonhoeffer spoke up against the unrighteous laws of the German Nazi Party. Being a pianist, later the Gestapo grabbed him because he was trying to undermine Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler. And so they put him in prison, and then later, just 2 weeks before the end of the war, they hung him with piano wire because he was a pianist. Bonhoeffer said, quote, "Silence in the face of evil is itself evil. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act."